Madam Bimbo, enough is enough. We are your workers, not your slaves. You insult us. You reduce our salary. You beat us like children.
Jennifer stood there, breathing hard. Her chest rose and fell. Her ears rang. Inside her head, everything went quiet. No this time. No commentary. Just one clear thought. So this is it. She slowly removed her apron. Nobody spoke. Not because they didn't care, but because they were afraid. Jennifer placed the apron neatly on the table. She looked once at Tracy, once at Chidinma. Then she walked out of the kitchen. Straight, steady, head held high. Madam Bimbo was still smiling outside, collecting money from a customer, when Jennifer passed by her. Jennifer did not greet. She did not run. She did not shout. She simply walked out of the restaurant, her cheek still burning, her heart pounding, her dignity bruised but not broken. And for the first time since Jennifer stepped into that restaurant, Madam Bimbo felt something strange tug at her chest. Not anger, not pride. Something else. Something she ignored. Because she did not yet know, that slap had just started something she could not control. Jennifer did not talk on her way home. She walked past the junction, past her usual bus stop, only stopped when her legs could no longer carry the weight in her chest. When she finally entered the room, Ngozi looked up immediately. "Jennifer, wetin happen?" That was all it took. Jennifer dropped her bag, sat on the edge of the bed, and slowly touched her cheek. The mark was still there, faint but angry. Ngozi's eyes widened. "Who slapped you?" Jennifer sighed deeply and began. She narrated everything, from shouting, to the insults, to the slap. She didn't exaggerate. She didn't cry. She just spoke calmly like someone reporting the weather, but with every word, Ngozi's anger grew. "Nawa ooh," Ngozi shouted, pacing the room. "So because of small mistake? If na me, I for return that slap sharp sharp." She clenched her fists. "Which kind rubbish, madam, be that?" Jennifer finally looked up. Her eyes were steady. "No," she said quietly. "Make you calm down." Ngozi stopped. Jennifer continued, her voice low but firm. "That woman no say me na street girl." Ngozi blinked. "If she try that kind thing again," Jennifer paused, "I go change 'em for her." She touched her cheek again. "Make she no try me." The room fell silent. Ngozi sat down slowly. She knew that tone. It wasn't noise. It was warning. The next morning, Jennifer woke up early. She tied her hair neatly, pressed her uniform. Her face was calm. Too calm. When she entered the restaurant, Madam Bimbo was at the counter, laughing loudly with a customer. Jennifer did not greet her. Not good morning, not good afternoon, nothing. She simply walked past and went straight to work. The other girls noticed immediately. Chidinma raised her eyebrows. Tracy held her breath. Jennifer didn't talk to anyone. She just worked, serving food, cleaning tables, smiling at customers, fake smiles. The kind that never reached the eyes, Madam Bimbo noticed. From afar, she watched Jennifer closely. The girl's head was up. Her movements were steady. No fear in her eyes. No shaking hands. Madam Bimbo frowned. Something had changed. This was not the same girl she slapped yesterday. Jennifer caught her staring once. Their eyes met, just for a second. Jennifer did not look away. She simply turned back to her work, calm, quiet, unbothered. And Madam Bimbo, for the first time in a long time, felt uneasy. Because she could handle fear, she could control tears. But this quiet confidence, this silence with backbone, it told her something dangerous. Jennifer was no longer afraid. And people who are not afraid are very unpredictable. That day passed strangely. Too smooth, too quiet. Jennifer made no mistakes, no apologies, and no unnecessary movement. She worked like a machine, efficient, calm, distant. Ah, customers praised her. Madam, this girl is very polite-o. She's neat. She smiles well. Madam Bimbo heard everything. She stood behind the counter, nodding, forcing her usual wide smile, but her eyes never left Jennifer. Something about the girl disturbed her spirit. Jennifer didn't beg. She didn't act scared. She didn't overdo respect. And worst of all, she didn't greet. By evening, Madam Bimbo called Chidinma aside. That new girl, Jennifer. Yes, madam. Why she day behave like that? Chidinma swallowed. She's just working, madam. Madam Bimbo hissed. Tell her to come. Jennifer approached slowly. Yes? No, ma. Just yes. Madam Bimbo noticed immediately. Why you no greet me this morning? Jennifer looked at her calmly. I was working, madam. Her voice was flat, respectful but not submissive. Madam Bimbo scoffed. So now you get attitude? Jennifer paused. For a moment the kitchen seemed to lean forward to listen. No, madam, she said quietly. I just don't like trouble. Madam Bimbo stepped closer. You should be careful how you talk to me. Jennifer met her eyes. I am careful, she replied. Not loud, not rude, just firm. Something twisted inside Madam Bimbo's chest. She waved her hand angrily. Go back to work. Jennifer turned and walked away. No shaking. No hurry. Tracy watched with wide eyes. Chidinma exhaled slowly. That night, Madam Bimbo did not sleep well. She kept seeing Jennifer's face, not angry, not scared, just calm, too calm. Days passed. No slaps. No shouting at Jennifer. Madam Bimbo still quarrelled with others, still reduced salaries, still barked orders. But when it came to Jennifer, she paused. She measured her words. Jennifer noticed. The other girls noticed too. Whispers started. That Jennifer get mind. She know dey fear madam. Abby she be mad. But Jennifer wasn't mad. She was ready. One afternoon, a customer caused trouble, shouting, insulting, threatening not to pay. Madam Bimbo rushed out with her customer's smile, apologizing up and down. Jennifer watched quietly. When the man finally left, Madam Bimbo turned to the workers, ready to release stored anger. Her eyes landed on Jennifer. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Jennifer stood there, unbothered. And in that moment, Madam Bimbo understood something she had ignored for years. Fear only works on people who accept it. Jennifer had returned to work not as a victim, but as a mirror. And Madam Bimbo did not like what she was beginning to see. Yet, deep down, she also knew if she pushed Jennifer again, this time the story would not end quietly. It happened on a Friday. The kind of Friday when stress sits on people's shoulders like wet cloth. Business was slow. Madam Bimbo was already in a bad mood. Tracy made a mistake, a very unnecessary one. She poured the soup into the wrong pot. Nothing spoiled, nothing wasted. It was something that could be corrected in seconds. But Madam Bimbo did not want correction. She wanted release. Tracy! The shout shook the kitchen. Tracy stepped forward immediately, stopping at her usual safe distance. Her mouth was already sealed. But Madam Bimbo was not interested in distance. She marched forward. Are you useless? Is your brain on holiday? Before anyone could blink, slap. The sound landed hard. Tracy cried out softly, holding her cheek. Her eyes filled with tears. The kitchen froze. This slap felt different, because Jennifer saw it clearly. And something snapped. Before Madam Bimbo could even withdraw her handpa, Jennifer returned the slap immediately. Clean, sharp, fearless. The kitchen gasped. Madam Bimbo staggered back, shocked, holding her cheek. Her eyes widened. She muttered in disbelief. What is wrong with you, Jennifer? But Jennifer did not wait. This time, Jennifer was the one quarreling. Her voice was loud, steady, and shaking with truth. Madam Bimbo, enough is enough. We are your workers, not your slaves, she pointed around the kitchen. You insult us. You reduce our salary. You beat us like children. Her chest rose and fell. I swear to God, she continued, her voice hard. Try this nonsense again. Just try it. You go sleep for station. Silence crashed into the room. No pot boiled. No spoon moved. Tracy stared in shock. Cheetham's mouth hung open. Madam Bimbo said nothing. She stood there, still holding her cheek, eyes searching Jennifer's face, looking for fear. She found none, not even a drop. For the first time since that restaurant opened, Madam Bimbo had no words. She turned, and she walked out of the kitchen quietly. No shouting, no threats, no slap, just silence. And as the door closed behind her, the girls looked at Jennifer with something new in their eyes. Not fear, not pity, respect. Because that day, one slap did not just land on Madam Bimbo's cheek, it landed on her power. And it cracked it. The kitchen stayed quiet for a long time after Madam Bimbo left. Too quiet. Jennifer stood still, breathing hard. Tracy was shaking. Chidima slowly walked closer. Jennifer, Tracy whispered, you don't finish today. Jennifer wiped her hands on her apron. If she wants to sack me, make she sack me, she said calmly. But nobody go slap anybody for this kitchen again. Just then clap. Clap, clap. Slow, deliberate clapping echoed from the doorway. Everyone turned. Madam Bimbo was standing there again. But she was not alone. Behind her stood a short, elderly man with grey hair and calm eyes, the kind of eyes that had seen many storms and learned silence. The girls froze. Madam Bimbo cleared her throat. Girls, she said, her voice strangely low, this is my husband. Shock rippled through the kitchen. Her husband looked around slowly, at Tracy's red cheek, at Jennifer's steady face, at the fear still hanging in the air like smoke. He sighed. I've been watching from the CCTV, he said quietly. The room went cold. Madam Bimbo stiffened. I heard everything, he continued. I saw everything. He turned to Tracy. Sorry, my daughter. Then he faced Jennifer. And you are brave. Madam Bimbo spun around. Brave? She snapped. She slapped me back. Her husband raised his hand gently. Because you slapped first. Silence. He turned to his wife slowly. For years, customers praise you. Money enters. But I kept hearing workers leave one after the other. I thought they were lazy. He shook his head. I was wrong. Madam Bimbo's face changed. Not anger. Fear. Her husband looked at her firmly. This restaurant will close for 3 days. The girls gasped. During that time, he continued, any worker who wants to leave will be paid fully. Any worker who stays will be treated with respect, or this business ends. He looked directly at Madam Bimbo. And if I ever see you raise your hand again, he paused, I will be the one to take you to the station. Madam Bimbo opened her mouth. No words came out. Jennifer said nothing. She simply stood there. Strong. Still. The man nodded once. Jennifer, he said, you resume after the break. You will supervise the kitchen. Madam Bimbo's head snapped up. What? Her husband didn't even look at her. She understands something you forgot, he said calmly. Power without respect destroys itself. He turned and walked away. Madam Bimbo followed silently. The door closed. For the first time ever, the kitchen erupted, not in fear, but in whispers, tears, and relief. Tracy hugged Jennifer tightly. You changed everything. Jennifer smiled faintly. And inside her mind, she thought, I came here to work, but I ended up teaching a lesson. Outside, Madam Bimbo sat in her office alone, no shouting, no smile, staring at her hands. Because sometimes, the biggest twist is not revenge. It is truth finally catching up. The restaurant reopened on Monday. People noticed it immediately. The gate was open earlier than usual. The chairs were arranged neatly. The kitchen was unusually calm. No shouting, no insults flying like pepper. Workers stood straighter. And Madam Bimbo? She was quiet. Too quiet. By noon, the place was full. Regular customers had returned, laughing, eating, enjoying themselves as usual. But there was a strange tension in the air, like something big was about to happen. Then Madam Bimbo walked out. Not with her usual loud steps, not with her booming voice. She stood in front of the counter and cleared her throat. Attention, everybody, she said. The restaurant went silent. Spoons paused mid-air. Conversations died. The workers froze. Jennifer looked up slowly. Madam Bimbo took a deep breath. I want to say something, she began, her voice steady but heavy. Something I should have said a long time ago. She turned toward the workers. Her eyes rested briefly on Tracy's face, then on Jennifer's. I have treated you people badly, she said. I shouted, I insulted, and I raised my hand. A murmur ran through the restaurant. Customers exchanged surprised looks. I thought fear would make you work better, Madam Bimbo continued. But I was wrong. Her voice cracked slightly. We are not animals. We are not slaves. Jennifer's eyes widened slightly. Madam Bimbo bowed her head. I am sorry. The word dropped like thunder. I apologize to all my workers, especially Tracy and Jennifer. The restaurant erupted into whispers. Some customers clapped slowly, others shook their heads in disbelief. Madam Bimbo straightened up. From today, she said firmly, any worker that feels disrespected has the right to speak. She paused. And if I ever raise my hand again, I will accept the consequences. She turned to the kitchen. I am sorry. Silence followed. Then Jennifer stepped forward. She nodded once. Apology accepted, she said calmly. Not loud, not proud, just enough. The customers clapped. Tracy wiped her tears. Chidinma smiled for the first time in a long while. Madam Bimbo stepped back into her office quietly. That day, food still sold. Money still came. But something more important returned to the restaurant. Respect. And Jennifer? She went back to work, serving food with a real smile this time, knowing that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stand up. And let truth speak for you.
If you felt every word of this story, then stay with me, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so when the next story is born, you will be right here to experience it from the very first line.